Alright, so I want to make a quick trading video about why I'm not successful in trading. Why I'm not. It's been 2 months. July, end of July, we started back testing trading, prop firms. August, we blew so many. I think we blew like 4 accounts. September, I lost count already. I mean, how many I've blown. But it's not good, you know, what I'm dealing with in my trading right now. Because again, I'm not perfect. I'm not 100% the best trader in the world, you know, and I'm not profitable yet because I've lost more money this year than I've made money statistically wise, you know. One of the things that I'm currently dealing with in my trading is the urge of impatience, or that's the best way I can put it, like impatience to get the results I want. I want to be funded. I want to be getting the payouts. I want to be, you know, doing all these things, but I'm unable to like really stick to the most basic things. Like the most basic principles, I'm not following them and I'm getting punished. You know, like learn the basics, learn to have risk management, have good risk management, learn to follow your trading model, learn to stick to your trading rules. And those are the simple things, but I'm simply not mastering the simple things. I've mastered the advanced ones. I've mastered, you know, have a profitable strategy. I've back tested it. I've shown it to the people and the other channel, and I've shown the stats. I've shown, of course, I still need to collect more data. I can always be doing more and this and that, but I know it works. You know, I've back tested it. I've done a couple rounds of back testing and I've proven to myself that it does work. It's simply just me, whenever I'm live trading, that's not profitable. You know, like the system when you're back testing is different. You know, like you can click, skip through the candles, and get to the result you want. Either you lose or you win. You can stop before you take the trade when you're back testing. You know, go through the checklist, check off every box, and if you're missing one, you don't take the trade. You cancel it. When you're live trading, you don't get that. When you're live trading, you get emotional. You get like just a different urge. You get like the different surge of feelings. You know what I'm saying? And one of the things I'm just really dealing with again is impatience. I have like that short-term type of mindset, like I'm stuck in the moment. And all I'm thinking of is passing the account or making this certain amount for this trade. And I rush into trades, not following the system. And then eventually that leads me to breaking one of my trading rules, which is follow the system to the tick. And I wrote my trading rules and I put them on my wall as of today. I started that today because I had like a mental thing where I would write down certain things and I'll put it on my wall or on my desk back then. And I realized, why not do it again? So I want to be a man of my word. I told myself I will be a man of my word starting today. You know, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it no matter what. I won't go against my word. And one of those too is the risk management. So that's another thing. With the impatience, you tend to over leverage. You tend to trade with more size than you're comfortable with or that you should be trading with. Again, I've never passed a Top Step combine. There's no point of me trying to make 3% in one trade. You know what I'm saying? There's no point of me trying to make 1,500 twice back to back. I've had plenty of accounts, like 3 or 4 already, where make 3% or 1,500 USD, and then I lose it the next day. And then I buy another account and I make it back. And basically we just repeated that cycle like 3 times in the past month or 2. It's really bad. And then I've had weeks where I'm risking that amount and I'm unable to hold the trade. I move the stops to break even too soon. I'm in fear, you know, and then I hit break even, and then the trade runs to the profit objective where I scale a lot. I scale like 75% of the position out, and then we only hit for like a 1% win. And so, you know, I told myself I've reviewed every single thing that I'm doing wrong, and I thought to myself, you know, like if I'm doing all those things wrong, it's more of a mental thing. You know, like it's more of a mental thing where we're impatient. We want to rush the results, which leads to us to over leveraging and trading with more size than we should or that we feel comfortable with to rush the process. And we're focused too much on the output and the outcome, when in reality we should be focused on the process on the day-to-day basis of, you know, sticking to the system, sticking to our trading rules. And one of the trading rules, the most important one, is to take one trade a day only, simply because that is the most important rule here by far. I only want to take one trade a day. I want to lower the trade frequency. I don't want to take a trade every single, or I don't want to take a trade every single day. I really don't. Some days I know I won't be able to win, so I just shouldn't be able to take the trades, you know? I don't want to take more than one trade a day. I've noticed majority of the time, like when I spiral, especially with that amount of risk, if I lose one trade, 3%, the account basically is gone then that same day. I lose, I go get into another trade, force the trade, click the button, I lose, you know? One of the things that I've done is I wrote the rules. And let me go over the rules. I already went over the first one is one trade a day. The second one is follow the trading model to the tick. And what I mean to the tick is, like earlier today, I was entering the model without the entry time frame giving us the confirmation we needed. And then if we stuck to the first rule, we would have just taken the loss and moved on. Today was a difficult day, a Monday, no news Monday. We have CPI Thursday. We should have just taken the loss and moved on. Simple as that. We're down 1%. Then that goes to rule 3. Risk 1% on the combine for now, 0.5 on fundeds. And I'm going to stick to that rule. I know a lot of traders. Everybody trades differently. Everybody has their own risk management procedures. But for me, as someone that has not passed the combine, someone that has not proven his consistency to the market yet or to profitability, I want to be risking 1% only to then eventually build that consistency, which builds confidence. So if I pass a combine risking 1%, I'm going to be confident. I'm going to have confidence in my trades and in my system and in my mental aspect of trading, simply because that consistency will build discipline, and that discipline will fortitude the results I want to see, basically. And then number 4 is only trading 10 a.m. through 12 a.m. New York time. That time window right there is whenever I find majority of my trades. So 10 through 11, or 10 to 12 basically, 10 to 12, I find majority of my high quality setup. So if I find a setup through there and we have to hold the trade past 12, I'm fine with that. As long as we take the trade before 12 and after 10, that little window is where I'm going to look for majority of my trades. And if we don't find anything there, move on. We move on throughout the trading day. That's the thing about trading. You can put in, you can try to look at the market as much as you want, but you're going to do more damage than you should. The less time you're on the markets, or the less time you're on the charts, the more successful you are, especially when it comes to live trading. That doesn't apply to back testing, this and that, or forward testing, whenever like you're basically going through live data without trading. So that's different. Tape reading is different as opposed to live trading. That's basically what I plan on doing for this month, and I realized those were my flaws in trading that I need to overcome. I came to like a deep realization that if I stuck to this, I'm gonna just stick to it. I'm gonna stick to it. I'm gonna see what happens. And again, it's just controlling myself. That's really the main issue I'm dealing with here, is lack of self-control. That's what it is. It's just lack of self-control. I'm failing to be disciplined, stick to my rules, and knowing how to handle a loss. I can't handle a loss. Like every time I would lose 3%, I would spiral. Some days I would lose 1%, I would lose 2%, I would be cool with that, I'll walk away. Even though I would be angry, that's fine though. Sometimes you're gonna have to lose to win. But overall, I know my system is profitable. I know the probabilities are in my favor. So that's one of the things that gives me hope and confidence. But again, it's when it comes to live trading, sometimes I'm not 100% following it. Sometimes I'm just deviating away from it. I'm risking too much on certain trades, and on other trades I'm not letting them run, or I'm just moving it, stop loss to break even. I'm not managing it well like I should be. So those are the things I really plan on doing to end this year. I don't want to say to get me funded or to be profitable. No, I don't want to think about the outcome anymore. I want to think about the process. I want to think of these trading rules as a way to improve my trading, and that's all I want to think about. I don't want to think about outcomes, this and that. I want to think about inputs. Like if suppose I read this book right here. Suppose I read this book. Think about it think of trading as this book. I read this book, I take the principles and knowledge, and I apply it to my life. My life would genuinely improve. I'm not looking for a certain result reading this book I'm not reading this book to be an emotional, super a non-stoic emotional person. I'm reading this book to improve my life, and that's it. Simple as that. Same thing with trading. I'm trading to improve my life. I'm going to take the principles and things that I've learned, I'm going to apply them to my trading, and hopefully I improve. I'm not looking for a certain outcome. Same thing when I read this book. I'm not looking for a certain outcome after I read this book. I'm just learning. I'm just wanting to read this book to learn something new. And that's it. Same thing with trading. I'm looking to trade to just trade. I'm not looking here to print a certain amount of dollars, reducing that. I just looking to trade to improve my life. How it looks, how it feels, to me, I don't know yet. I'm not there yet. But eventually when I do get there, hopefully my life improves. Hopefully my life improves. Hopefully my life changes. I'm not really trying to force a time limit. I think that's one of the things too I was dealing with a lot recently, is forcing a time limit on trading. I feel like if I don't make it work by, the end of this year, I'm screwed. I'm cooked. I have to make trading work by the end of this year. No. And that's another thing why I was rushing the process. I want to prove everybody wrong. I want to change my life real quickly. I want to be rich overnight. That's another thing too. And I have to come to the realization that with trading, it's going to be a slow cook. But once you start cooking, scaling, the multiplication, the compounding of the results is dramatic. So if you just get the ball rolling day by day, like a snowball effect, it may be small at first, it may be small steps, but once you start getting the ball rolling and you really, let it compound over time, like in a year or two, or 2 years, 2 to 3 years, your life will change. I promise you, your life will change. There's no rush to your life, there's no change. There's like no rush to getting a certain amount of results, like it's gonna happen when it's meant to happen. It's gonna happen when God allows it to happen. But that's pretty much really it, like it's a snowball effect. I tend to like keep thinking that I want my snowball to be the biggest off the rip, without having much experience. This year I don't have much. If I'm being truly honest, this year I only have late July, August, now September under my belt. Before that I was not really trading. I was not trading January. I came in and out. I was having on and off breaks. I wasn't really locked in. Now I'm locked in. I just want to see where it goes from here, honestly. But one of the things I didn't want to do was buy like 5 combines, but stick to the rules that I have here and see if I, can copy trade them and pass them. But again, me and my brother had this talk. He told me just to pass 1 combine and then eventually buy like 3 more and prove it to myself over time, that I can do this. Because if you pass once, you can always pass twice. So yeah, peace.